as it can be, and straight to the point and exciting and engaging. So please feel free to put your question. Oh, you're Kenyan too. Yeah, Michael, I know, right? So please feel free to, yeah, you could leave your introductions too in the chat. We'll get them. Thank you. So feel free to ask questions when it's time. I love to keep to time. That's how I was here before too. And so we'll try to keep to 30 to 60 minutes since we have a lot of AI enthusiasts, beginners here with us. So would thank God our slide is simple as ABC because I love to break things down. Yeah, so I need to introduce myself, do I? I don't think so, but if you'd Google your expert tech guide, you'd see everything you need to know about me. Emeka Collins below. So this polo I'm wearing, I'm repping O2K Netherlands. I worked with O2K Netherlands, a crypto blockchain Web3 company, remotely in 2023. So and they sent these polos to us. For the first time, we met ourselves remotely. We had a remote team in Nigeria, and for the first time, we were working for close to a year. And so the conference we held in the metaverse. We had a crypto conference, the first of it in the metaverse, and I was excited to lead the tech team. And so, yeah, they sent this down for us. And so shout out to O2K. Awesome, Antonia, awesome team. All right, so my experience goes from blogging. Thank you, Michaela. My experience goes from blogging, the heydays of blogging in 2016. That's when I started my career, to software development, to edtech at Blockstock, to crypto and Web3 with O2K Netherlands. And I currently passed a test for a senior AI dev role with Crossover. And so my experience is broad. I think I'll be doing like 9 years this year to the glory of God. So, and yeah, I've had opportunities to at Blockstock to train for like 5 years. I've had to train for 5 years. I'm also a certified presenter and facilitator. I'm trainings when I was very young. I went for such training. And shout out to my mentor, Mrs. Akuna Chukwumambele. She made that possible. I was the youngest in that training, I guess 18, 19 when I did that field presentation and facilitation training. So enough of myself. I just had to do this so we know that we are in safe hands. All right, and you're going to be getting expert advice. You're going to be getting expert guidance. And so let us begin. Yeah, so the topic says simplifying AI, your clear guide in Q1 2025. So you see this topic is very simple, and I carefully curated these presentation slides to see that it's as beginner and as friendly as possible, because I oversaw, no, that's not the word. I foreknew, let me use that word, that we'll have a lot of enthusiasts, AI enthusiasts with us today. So it says we're trying to summarize the topics: OpenAI API, AI ethics, and ChatGPT prompting. So we are just trying to make an attempt to provide clarity in the next 30 to 60 minutes. I don't want to take this too long because we thought that teaching for too long wears out the audience. Michaela, am I correct? When you stay longer than an hour, you get tired. Okay, Pawan, yeah, you have something. Let's go. Your hand is raised, or should I forget that? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, my hand is raised. That was intentional. So we're actually hearing your voice in two places. So I was wondering if you could reduce the volume coming from Blockstock.
Oh, okay. I think the mic on Blockstock is turned off.
It's turned off.
Okay,
No, I mean the volume.
Let me try the volume exactly. Thank you. But I guess it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it wasn't bad. It was just at the background.
Yeah, holla back. Thank you. Okay, so we are discussing the basics because I want to break down these topics from complex functions to easy to understand logic. I'm going to explain. Complex functions in development or in programming is what's a function? What can we say function is? A function is, let's say, an ability to do something, like the word implies function. All right, so these functions sometimes in programming are complex, they look complex, right? And so to understand it is, for example, we have something like const. For those of us that have gone through the OpenAI track, we have something like const OpenAI, right? OpenAI const OpenAI is the variable name equals to, let's say, new, the constructor name, and then we have OpenAI again. Then we now have the curly bracelets opened and the commas and all of that, right? That's the function right there. Now, it's confusing because some people don't know that when you see equal sign in programming, it simply means reference. It simply means what's at the right hand side, right, is going to be referenced to what's at the left hand side. That's it. So these things are not as complex as they look at the end of the day. They are very easy. So that's what we are trying to do here. Okay, next slide. I'm gonna move to the next. Okay, so I have a $1 million question. I have a $1 million question. And let's listen. It may look like a rhetorical question. If you have an answer to it, fine. And here I'm going to do something like an answer and win one slot or one slot, yes. So I want to give just one person a chance to have a 30 minutes private section with me. That's after the class. I want to also expose this person to crossover where I wrote my senior AI dev exams. Crossover is like a remote platform in the US. So you have to pass series of tests. There's the one for Gen AI. So you have to go through all that before you secure your remote job. And these remote jobs range in thousands of USD and all of it. So I want to give one person a private section with me and to expose the person to this platform. I want to show you how I was able to scale. And I also want to gift that one person a copy of my book. So if you're that one person, I'm going to throw a question, and if you get it, then you'll be that person. And so as an aside is that after the class, there would also be slots for maybe only five people but it's going to be a paid slot as an aside. I'm just saying that because I'm talking about to win this free slot, but this one is a free slot for one person only. All right, so my $1 million question goes like this. If the concept of the computer began with Charles Babbage and ENIAC is like an acronym in the 1940s, and AI was coined in 1956 by the father of AI. There's someone called the father of AI. His name is John McAfee of blessed memory. AI was coined in 1956, just so you know. And then there's Geoffrey Hinton, fondly known as the godfather of AI as well. So his research work was actually what gave rise to the AI boom as we have it today. And Geoffrey Hinton last year was awarded a Nobel Prize. And his research work, his PhD research work, his thesis was on artificial neural networks. Okay, and that was in 1978. Now I'm asking, in 2025, this is over 60 something years ago, if my memory doesn't fail me, since AI was coined. Why the sudden craze in AI in 2025? What changed? I know some of us are not familiar with this history, but I had to take us back to history. So who has something to say? Amudipe. By the way, this is not the answer and win question. We'll get to that. But yeah, let me hear you. So you can turn on your mic and talk. What changed?
Okay, sir. I was first thinking maybe this is the $1 million question I will win. Also.
All right, no, this is not to win. I'll show you the question under it.
All right, sir. I try. I think what's changed at this present stage
Yeah, I didn't get that. Larry, please speak up. Larry Waju, please speak up.
Yes,
What
I think
changed?
what's changed.
Why is it like AI?
I think what's changed.
Yeah.
I think is the availability of data and the volume of the data that we have now that is being generated on the go.
Mm. Mm. Brilliant answer. Brilliant answer. Thank you, Olariwaju. Michaela, you have something to say. Please go on. You're next. What
Okay.
changed?
I think the big factor is that governments and organizations have finally caught up and they are setting clear regulations and ethical guidelines that help businesses use AI in everyday life. Like it's everywhere, from the cars that are self-driving to the healthcare that is personalized using AI-powered assistants. Yeah, I think it's because it's an essential tool rather than a luxury at the moment.
So it's an essential rather than a luxury. Brilliant answer. Next, Millicent raised your hand. Bisola, you'll be next.
Yes,
Millicent,
so
what changed?
for me, I think the sudden boost in AI now is because of the availability of infrastructure and the computational power that we have now. And a lot of research is also being carried out in the area. Yes, thank you.
Mm, mm, Brilliant answer. Brilliant, brilliant. The next person, Bisola. I mean, this is a very brilliant class. A round of applause. Brilliant.
Yes, sir.
Bisola.
I think it's actually about the exposure. Yeah, like there are some of the scientists that they are making research and to know much more about the AI, and they get to know about the importance and the benefit of AI, then they apply it to our daily work and ethics, and they are like, oh, so AI can do this and that. So they try to what's it called, to apply it to our daily life and other stuff, and they see that it's a big deal and people get to know much more about it.
Brilliant, Bisola. Brilliant. The last, so that should be the last hand. Israel, we have two more hands. So quickly, Israel, 30 seconds, and the next, Israel next, then the next that raises his hand or her hand. 30 seconds, Israel, over to you.
Okay, yeah, so I believe that since the existence of man, there's been the Stone Age, if you want to look at the revolution and even industrialization, how it took over things and all of those things. So there's never been an era where things can be automated. So is the importance of automation, how AI has been sending people out of jobs, how AI can automate processes, get things done even at a faster pace, and still attain efficiency. So people have seen that AI could do a lot with efficiency and effectively and efficiently. So that's been the need for AI, and it's has become a wildfire and it's spread across
Transform.
everywhere. So everybody wants to know, is the in thing.
Awesome. Awesome, Israel. Awesome. Awesome feedback. Like I'm so impressed. Woo! You know, I was thinking this question was going to be like a report. That word. All our answers can be traced to one thing.
Yeah, sorry. Emeka, it's really breaking on your end.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we cannot really pick out what you're saying.
Okay. So is it better now? So is it better now?
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, I think that was a network. Whatever. All right. So sorry about that. I think that was a network glitch. So what's that thing, Dilly? I said all our answers can be traced to one 8-letter word. Dele, say the word. Your hand is raised. Oh, okay. Let me tell the word. So all our answers can be traced to the internet. Now, if you look at the timelines, the internet I think was in 1989 thereabouts, where I think that was when the internet came in. But look at the dates preceding the AI, whatever. You see that? And the internet has made the world closer more than ever before. The internet has brought data. This guy talked about data. I think Olari Waju, the other person talked about. You see that? So the internet has been able to globalize the entire world and put it in our hands. Okay, so that's just it. All right. So awesome. All answers awesome. So here's the answer to win the slot. So I just want someone to tell me the short story about the groundbreaking research by Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI. Quickly, just tell me. And there's something I'm looking out for. I wanted to highlight that the groundbreaking research by Geoffrey Hinton. There's something very profound that made this his research or thesis become the pivot for the AI boom. Who knows? Who wants to talk? You're going to win this one slot if you get it. Who's going first? Just turn on your mic and speak. Back propagation. Okay, not close yet. There's something very profound. Who else? Just speak. Turn on your mic and speak if you're the one. 30 seconds.
Is it the capsule networks that he proposed in 2017?
Not quite. Something very profound. Something very profound. So like you can see, this is a crossover platform, and I'm going to send us the slides, and this is my book. I was able to break down everything. My Dutch founder in O2P Netherlands gave the forward of this book. So this is my platform on crossover, just so you see it and all of it. So when you get this answer, you're going to enjoy all of this, and you're going to spend 30 minutes with me, uninterrupted 30 minutes. Ask all the questions. I'll show you everything. Okay, now let me tell the answer. It seems like no one gets it. So I'm saying this so that we will be particular about history, because a lot of us, we just want to always move forward. We don't want to pause, sometimes spend time in the moment, and other times go back in history. It would really help you when you know that all this started from somewhere, from point A to point Z. Some people think AI is a new technology. No, it's not. All right. So I'm taking us back to history, so we'll be able to appreciate and recognize patterns. That's what we're going to go to the next patterns. Okay. So the answer to this is that the key moments in Geoffrey Hinton's story is that his PhD thesis was to simulate the human brain in computers, basically, and that's the origin of artificial neural networks. How can a computer, or how can we simulate a human's brain? How can we simulate a human's ability to think and all of that? How can we simulate it in a computer? That was what his thesis and research work was all about. And actually, he was discouraged that it wasn't going to work. You can see as far back as 1978, he was discouraged about that thesis. Like, I think he was even advised to throw it away or something. And now you see what that has, made of the whole AI boom today. Exactly, Michaela. So that's it. That's the key moment. I wanted someone to get it. And so just to add is that whenever you do your research, try to watch short videos. Try to watch 60-minute videos than reading. When you do your research or study, always click videos. You see videos as part of your search, because what you see in videos most times you won't see in text. Like, there are very key points you see in videos that would never be captured in text. So that's like your take home today. I hope that helps you. Awesome. All right, OpenAI API. Why, when, and how? OpenAI API, why, when, and how. So we are now in the meat, we are in the crux of the matter. So let's pay key attention. So why OpenAI API? As a matter of fact, in the tech space, we hear API as often as we drink water every day. If you're in the tech space, if you're a dev, if you're an engineer, you just hear API everywhere, like everybody's API, you know. So why API? Because I want to use a food metaphor to explain API. Since we are all AI enthusiasts and majorly beginners, we don't really have engineers here right now. So we are going to really appreciate this, particularly as we grow. Now, let's imagine you visit a restaurant. So let's call you that visits a restaurant the user. And now the waitress walks up to take your order. Now let's imagine that waitress as the OpenAI API. And this waitress sends your order to the kitchen. Now let's say the kitchen is the AI engineer. You know, when people are building new products, they'll say, I'm cooking. They always say, I'm in the kitchen. It's how musicians use that word. And developers, engineers use that word too. Okay, so let's imagine the kitchen as the AI engineer. So now, this means that AI engineers could cook or they could build phenomenal products that easily satisfy users when they leverage APIs. In this case, when they leverage OpenAI API, right? So these AI engineers could cook phenomenal products when they leverage OpenAI APIs. Does this metaphor make sense? Please just click the wave in your hands. Does this really explain APIs? Is this super clear? Yeah, right. Awesome. Awesome. I see you. Awesome. So when you hear API, don't be scared anymore. Just know that. Just see it. Just imagine this food metaphor in your head. And that's it. Now, I have a question. Have you been able to directly access the kitchen of any highly prized restaurant you visited before? So I don't know what's the highly prized restaurant you visited before, but I've been at Echo Atlantic. I've been in one Chinese cuisine, and I think this was just December when we had a family this thing. But I was not able to access the kitchen. Neither was any of my family members. But what happened? We had a waitress walk up to us, take our orders, and took it to the kitchen. So I'm asking, why is that so? Why do highly priced restaurants don't allow for access to the kitchen? But I think there are some restaurants we've visited, some low-end restaurant where you just walk into the kitchen. In fact, the kitchen is what welcomes you. So I'm trying to engineer our minds as to API and how OpenAI API is important, and even as to why API is costly. Because if you've gone through your course, you'd see where they say for every token, in fact, for the number of tokens, you'd have to pay. In fact, the more tokens you use, the more you pay. True or false? Some of us have seen that in the course. Good. So this is it. Highly priced restaurants will charge high because why? There's an API. Because of the service they give you. They make you feel at home. They provide the ambience. They offer professional service, right? And so for that waitress alone to come meet you, you sit down, you're relaxed. You don't go to the kitchen to stress yourself. They do everything for you, plus the ambience and all of it is why you see their prices are high. And invariably, if that makes sense, is why APIs are also charged highly too, right? So if that makes sense. Yeah, so let's move to the next. When do you use OpenAI APIs? When? Now, there are two factors that determine when you use OpenAI API, and that's when you collate data and when you consume data. Please, if by any chance you stop hearing me, just drop comments or just do the way, just do the, what's the emoji we would use if you're not hearing me? Okay, use this emoji, this okay emoji if you're not hearing me, or leave a comment. Yeah, let's go on. So there are times when we use OpenAI API, and it's when we collate data and when we consume data. So I want to put it to us that in 2025, any idea you conceive or any product you try to conceptualize, right? Which involves the gathering and the usage of data. Data is simply information. When you hear data, it means information. So any of these, whether you conceptualize a product or you conceive an idea, you can now leverage those with AI. In this case, OpenAI API. Once it has to do with gathering, and once it has to do with what? Usage. So let's think up an idea. Who has an idea? Well, let's leave that. That's just to you. But just so you know, for every time you have to do what? Collate data, and every time you have to do what? Consume data. You can engage an API, you can engage AI, and even more so, OpenAI API. Yeah, and so that takes us to the art and science of prompt engineering. So when you hear prompt engineering, don't be scared. Like I told you, I try to break this down such that even a 10 years old will be able to understand. I hope I try, and I hope I'm trying so far. So the basic idea behind, thank you guys, thank you Millicent, thank you Michaela. Glad to know you're enjoying the class. So the basic idea behind the art and science of prompt engineering is the ability of LLMs. Ibrahim, you have something to say? The mic is on. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could speak, Ibrahim. Ismaila, Ibrahim, speak, please. You have something to say, go on. Ibrahim, go on. You raised your hand. Oh, don't worry. Okay. All right, let's go on. So LLMs, right? I'm talking about the art and science for the ability of LLMs to be able to train data and recognize patterns. Note something there, recognize patterns. Remember we talked about history of AI and all of that, godfather of AI, father of AI. What I try to establish is the fact that I try to bring our attention to the ability to recognize patterns. There's always a pattern for everything. All right. What did I say? There's always a pattern for everything. And that is the same pattern LLMs as an algorithm, right? That's what they work with. So let me paint this scenario here. I believe in God. I believe we do. Some people are Christians here. So let me use this case study. All right. So God created man, right? God created man, right? And so I want to draw the analogy of recognizing patterns with respect to training data and with respect to LLMs. Okay, follow me. Now look at it. Let's liken God as the super engineer, the super AI engineer. Let's liken our bodies as the LLMs, right? As the intelligent machine. Now let's liken our mind as GPT-4, as one of the models, if that makes sense, yeah? All right, so I'm trying to, yeah, Michaela, funny. So I'm trying to put an analogy so we just understand the concept of recognizing patterns and LLMs and training data, that these things are just every day around us. It's really nothing superficial. It's really nothing weird. Let's not see when we hear LLMs, we start running or start. No, it's not. It's simple. It's everywhere around us. The human body is the intelligent machine. Let's call it the LLM. Let's call our minds the what? The model. Maybe MND01, something like GPT-4. And let's see God as the super engineer, yeah? All right. So now look at it. Imagine over 8 billion people in the world will wait for God to wake them up in the morning. Remember that day and night is an automation, right? Is an automation, day and night. Circadian rhythm, your sleeping and waking up is an automation as well. What else? Gestation, 9 months, when a woman is pregnant with a child and gives birth in 9 months. See this? These are all AI processes. I just called the what? Circadian rhythm, your ability to sleep and wake up, you know, and your body. You can actually condition your body by way of your mind to sleep and wake up at a certain time. You know that, right? Yes. What else? Day and night works as an automation. Yeah, good. LLM stands for large language models, correct. But I'm trying to paint a scenario. I'm just trying to paint an analogy between creation and AI so that so the point sits home. Now look at it that you're just a product of every knowledge you've taken in over the years. Your mind processes all of the knowledge and all of the information you've gathered over the years, true or false? True. That's the same way GPT-4 is able to process all of the data. Where do they get the data from? Internet, right? Because remember that before this AI boom was the social media boom, was the era where we just keep dumping things on the internet, dumping information. I'm also part of that era, the blogging days and all of it, where we just keep putting information on the internet. And now the internet is saturated. And so like the next best sense or the next best technology to evolve is what? AI. So we see that these guys, the GPT trains from all the information on the internet over the years that you and I has dumped there, just like the same way our minds work with all the knowledge and information we gather. I don't know if this makes sense. So at the end of the day, we see that there's a pattern to these things. AI is not rocket science. Okay, simple. That is it. It's not rocket science. So I hope this analogy drives the point home. Like I say, it's my pleasure to break it down such that a 10-year-old will understand. Next, few short prompts. Now, few short prompts is when we talk about few short prompts. Now we are going into prompt engineering. I hope I didn't skip anything. No, I didn't. Okay, how? I skipped how, yeah. So let's go into how. We've talked about why. We've used the food metaphor. We've talked about when, and then now we're talking of how. Now, from your personal study, those of us that studied the materials on Screenbar and Data Camp and all of it, you already know that there are key points to consider whilst you build your OpenAI API. And for the sake of this class, let me narrow it down to the prompts. Remember, I just told us that prompts is the ability of your intelligent machine, like your GPT-4, to what? Train on the existing data to recognize these patterns, right? So when you just hear prompt engineering or prompt, just know that it is the art and science behind all of this, okay? So now let's consider the few short prompts. Few short prompts is very important when we talk about prompt engineering. In fact, few short prompt is one of the most used patterns in prompt engineering, right? So that's why I want us to consider few short prompts as a functionality, right? Yeah, good. So let's go to few short prompts. Now, you see, we are building in this class. We're building. We started from here, 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 and then. So after a few short prompts, I'll see how one of us can just quickly summarize what we've learned over time. I know there's a lot of key takeaways, but after a few short prompts, I think the rest is just easy slides and yeah. All right, so. Okay, so it's a 10-point slide, straight to the point. All right, so few short prompts. Now, one thing you must know about few short prompts, because I know some of us are really confused or don't really get it when we see few short prompts. It's most times it looks complex, but let me break it down because that's what we're here to do, from complex to simple. Now, there's an intent behind every prompt. Can some of us please turn on your mic and just tell me a prompt? Like, tell me one other prompt you know, or you've read, or you've seen. I just need 2 people. Please just turn on your mic and your prompt. Just tell me. Okay, what? Olarimaju.
Zero prompt. Zero prompt.
Okay, good. Another prompt. One more.
One prompt.
Okay, good. That works. Good. So I'm glad we're following. So now, few short prompts, if you notice, is usually is almost always being used. Few short prompts, and why? I'm going to tell us why. Because it's actually because of the sentimental analysis inherent in few short prompts. I'm going to explain that. You can see that in point 2. But let's talk about the intent. So every prompt you see has an intent, and every prompt you see has, there are like 3 things every prompt has. It has its pattern. Oh, you can't hear me. That should be. 1 minute, please.
I can hear you. You are very audible, sir. You are very
Oh,
audible.
okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're audible.
Maybe
Ngozi, I think that might be your
Oh, Ngozi, that could be
network.
your network. Yeah. All right. Let's shoot. The intent of few short prompt is that for all of this existing data and all of it, right, we are able to recognize a pattern that the LLM can learn or can follow. Now, I don't know how many of us were able to check out the AI engineer track on Screenbar. You'd realize that, okay, some of us here are not, most of us here are not devs or engineers. Well, let me just tell us that behind the scene of all these chatbots you see and any of those AI agents, all of it, is that there is a system instruction and there's a user input behind every AI app you see. There's what? A systems instruction, which is usually what the AI engineer codes. Some will say hard code. That's usually what the AI engineer writes. Let me just use easy words so don't bother us with terminologies. That's what the AI engineers just type in the system. They call it system instruction. That is what you cannot see, but that is what the app, the AI app, is working with behind the scene. That makes sense, right? Good. Now, the user input is when you and I download that app and begin to use it, we are now able to, like ChatGPT, for example, we are now able to type prompts into ChatGPT. Is it not? Good. Now, you're getting answers. Do you know why you're getting answers when you type into ChatGPT? Because an AI engineer behind the scene has been able to engage few short prompts, right? Has been able to do what? Engage, or has been able to insert, write, impute into ChatGPT few short prompts. That's just it. That makes sense, right? Okay. What does requests? Okay, Michaela. I'm just trying to break it down. Yeah, so we use like low terms because we have a lot of enthusiasts and beginners. Yeah, if I go technical, well, we're having a second class strictly for AI engineers and devs. We are going to break it down. We're going to show screens. We're going to code. But for now, I'm just trying to break down the terminologies. So that's it. So sentimental analysis, for example, is where we're able to analyze the user inputs about anything. So it could range from positive to negative or neutral. Now, let's see this few short example. Now, one of the situations is you are in front of a football post. What is the action to take? Shoot, is it not? Or is there any other action that you could do when you're in front of a football post? Maybe run away, leave the ball and run away. That could be another action. Okay. So yeah, so this is sentimental analysis. We are basically just analyzing the user input. So let's say the dogs outside are chasing you, right? So the dogs outside are chasing you. What is something you do? Run, right? Good. That's why I put there. So someone else should answer this, that you are about to drown in a swimming pool. Yeah. What is the next action you ought to take when you're about to drown in a swimming pool? You what? Scream. All right, good. So this is sentimental analysis, right? This is what? Sentimental analysis. So you see that we are able to analyze various user inputs from positive to negative, and sometimes you even do nothing, right? Sometimes you what? You even do what? Nothing. Okay? Do you see that? Good. Now, I just want you to understand that this is like the basics behind, or one of the basics behind your ChatGPT, which we can call our AI app, able to give you results when you, the user, go there and type, tell me 5 things about Mauritius, or whatever you type there. Your ChatGPT is able to reason and give you that because they've been able to train behind the scene. AI engineers have been able to do what? Train the mind, which is GPT itself, which is, we likened it to the human. Remember we said the body is like the human machine and the mind is like GPT. So I was able to train the mind of ChatGPT, right? Be able to train it to recognize patterns. So some other people will come there. Imagine like 10 people using ChatGPT, and there's no way in a day, like out of 100 users, we won't have the same or almost similar questions being asked to ChatGPT, right? So it's all about recognizing patterns, right? And analyzing user inputs. That's it. It's not rocket science. This is just the art and science, the engineering of ChatGPT prompts. And so I hope I've been able to break this down. So let's go to the next. ChatGPT prompting, the art and science of conversations. Now, one thing you should know is that simplicity always sells. In fact, in this day and time of complex, where automation is like leading the way, if you reverse engineer and become a very simple brand and become a very straightforward brand, I tell you, you're going to sell. You're going to sell like in your numbers, because a lot of people crave this human touch. A lot of people are almost weary, while we have the class of people enthusiastic about automation and all of it, we have the other class like, I don't care, I just want to be human again. All right. So we have these two classes of people in the AI space right now. So when you're able to have, so I'm speaking now from the AI engineer standpoint, that for engineers, would be engineers, let me use the word for would be AI engineers, because of course, from enthusiasts, you may want to be an engineer to build these AI products and all of it. Always know that the art and science of prompt engineering, of ChatGPT prompting, which we just talked about, is what there are three things behind it. One is your ability to craft clear instructions. So whenever you want to, and also this is going to help you as a user of maybe say ChatGPT or any AI product. Whenever you want to type your prompt, we are going to have an extensive class, by the way, practical class on ChatGPT prompt, but just for information, always try to be clear with your instruction. Don't go to ChatGPT, because the truth is what you give ChatGPT is what you get out. Because we learned that the LLMs, they don't store information. They don't have a memory of their own. That's like the first step you should know as a beginner, is that these LLMs work with input and output, at least for now, till they are able to now on their own self-automate, which is where AI agents is now getting to. But let's not go that deep. Let's stay on the topic. Be able to give clear instructions. Like, don't say something like, let me use an example, like, okay, I want to eat rice and stew. Very clear. Now you now say something like, can you give me a bowl of cereal? You now use a name, cereal, for rice. And what else can we use for stew? Something just ambiguous, when you can just say something like, I want to eat rice and stew. Right? Learn to craft clear instructions. No vague or ambiguous words. So you're telling ChatGPT, whatever, be clear. Now, learn to use role playing. Role playing is like, for example, now you want ChatGPT to help you with codes, to solve a coding problem. Okay, you go to ChatGPT and say, assume you are a software engineer. And remember to use the word you, because you're assuming that ChatGPT is what, a person. So don't use I want to. That's why we don't get results we need from ChatGPT or from any chatbot most times, because we fail to apply this simple art and science. Role playing. So use you in place of I. Okay. So you say assume you are a software engineer who wants to build. Now this is you, the user on ChatGPT. You're typing on your phone on ChatGPT app or Perplexity, whatever. Assume you are a software engineer who wants to build a a weather report app for his company. Do you see that? That's role playing. Assume you are a comedian who needs help with crafting interesting stories. In less than 250 words, tell me exciting and rhythmical stories and scenes around a husband and his wife. You see, I bet if you put this into ChatGPT now, with this role playing now, if you put this into ChatGPT, as against when you go to ChatGPT and say, tell me 5 stories on, I'm a comedian. Some people now type, I'm a comedian. Tell me 5 stories on husband and wife. You see the 2 stories will be different. And the truth is, the one I said before, when you say, assume you are a comedian, would tailor meet, would give you like spot on output. That's it. Why? Because you're now speaking the language of the mind of GPT. You're now speaking the language. When I say mind, I'm now using the human machine and our mind as GPT. You're now speaking that language. It's like someone coming to you. Let me use our Kenyan friend here, Malaika. Someone comes to you and is speaking Igbo. Igbo is a tribe in Nigeria to you, Malaika. Will you be able to understand Igbo? But you're Kenyan. No, right? Because you don't know Igbo. Because you can't recognize that pattern. Your mind, right, which we liken to the GPT, because the human body is like an intelligent machine, cannot recognize Igbo language. Because why? You've not been trained on it. So there's no pattern in your mind. So that's why you're lost, Malaika, when someone comes from Nigeria to speak Igbo to you. But now let's imagine your mind has been able to learn Igbo language, right? And I now come to speak Igbo to you as a Nigerian. You'll be able to give me an answer, right? Good. That's just it. That's just it. You see that? That's just it. So it's not rocket science. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then few-shot learning, we've already talked about it, sentimental analysis. We've talked about it where there's a situation and then there's a decision, right? Look at sentimental analysis there. So these are like the 3 things that prompt engineers need to be familiar with, AI engineers need to be familiar with, and even users of AI products need to be familiar with, okay? Yeah. So let's run. So there are prompting mistakes and practices. One of the common mistakes we've already said is vague prompts. You just use words like I instead of you. Instead of you to go straight to the point, you beat around the bush with your, and because the mind, like we said, has to be familiar, has to have trained with that. So you don't give vague prompts. You don't overly complex prompts. You don't use that. You neglect context. You see, now we said something about the comedian, and then we said something about husband and wife comedy. You see, so that is contextual, as opposed to saying, tell me a comedic story. You don't do that. Those are mistakes. The best practice is you start with a clear goal. Yeah, the presentation PDFs will be sent out. Yes, it will, definitely. It will go out. Yeah. Yeah, David, that answers your question. Someone was asking if they could get the slides. Sure. All right, so now let's do the last but not the least, because I'm keeping to time and I told us 30 to 60 minutes. I hope we're enjoying the class so far, yeah? I just want to hear our voices. I've been hearing only my voice in this room and it's boring. So someone just say something with the mic, how you're enjoying the class.
Yeah, the class is going great.
The class is wonderful. Very good. Very
It's
good.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Impactful.
class is going
It's
well.
amazing.
Back, I
Very
see you. We have senior engineers here with us too. Yeah, I see you. All love, Michael, Olarin Waju, all love, Victor Steven. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So AI ethics, and I'm asking a question here. AI ethics as part of this is human life and jobs now in the hands of AI engineers? Because we should know something, like we've established a fact that just like God is the super engineer, that's how we humans are also super engineers in this world. So when we say something like AI will take over the world or AI will take over our jobs, I need us to say that I want to take that with a pinch of salt. Like there's an extreme to such comments, and then there's it's like how we learned there's the temperature. I know some of us, if we went through that course in AI engineering course on Screenbar, you hear where they said, where they say temperature is usually a default of 1, but then it shouldn't go, it should have a difference 0 to 2. Yeah, the temperature. Temperature is like how high and how low, right? I'm just trying to use engineering terms now for AI engineers. So now, when we make statements like that, we should know like there's an extreme to it. AI apps, ChatGPT, even the robots, yeah, it's like humans. God is a super AI engineer, and he created humans. Are there humans that are still saying to themselves that God does not exist? Yes. Are there humans still saying to themselves that I'd rather have sexual relationship with my fellow gender? Yes. Has God killed any of them? No. He's not killed them yet. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So, like when humans build these products, these AI products, we should know that they'll be the ones that would go against the system's instruction from time to time, just like man would always want to go against God's instruction from time to time, right? And it's like, I don't know how many of us watched that video in China where there was this AI robot there was this robot that was guarding like a show hall. So the robot was like a bouncer, right? And then the robot malfunctioned and wanted to go and blow one of the concert people there. And then they held the robots and all of it. And some of us too must have seen the movie Transformers and all of that. The thing is, there's the highs and there's the lows to these things, yeah? And we humans are still super engineers and we are still in charge. At least for now, we are still in charge. All right? Now, there are three important things we should consider. And I just want to narrow this down. Let me just hit the nail on the head for want of time. Is that, for me, what is very important here is the bias fairness conundrum. I'm going to explain the bias fairness conundrum. For every time you're excited to build an AI product and you say, oh, you want to build this next AI thing, or you want to introduce AI into your apps, understand something, that one, there must be data you would train on, or you would train that your app or that your system on. Two, understand that this data came from humans, all right? Three, understand that humans are inherently biased. I mean, three people will not always have the same, three people will not always have the same ideology. I mean, even siblings will all not always have the same. So whenever you want to build an AI product or whatever, just understand that these three things exist. One, you need data. This data comes from humans, and humans are always biased. So AI engineers should be able to train LLMs with fairness and free from any bias. Let me use an example. If you want to build an AI product, right, and it's going to interact with humans, rather than depend solely on internet information, can you generate live data from humans instead and train your LLM on this live data, this live human data? I'm talking now because I'm speaking to AI engineers in view and even AI enthusiasts. And maybe you may be amongst them, or you may be in the room, right, with an engineering team and all of it, and you guys want to build a product. You guys shouldn't always be quick to want to train with internet data, primarily. You know why? Because there's a lot of bias, both societal bias, religious bias, and all of it on the internet. So, as an AI engineer in view, or as an AI enthusiast, knowledgeable about AI ethics, you'd have to find a way to bring in human data, like real life data. So let me make this very clear. For example, you want to build, okay, let me see Michaela has something to say. Go on, please. Maybe I'll tell the example from.
Sorry, I have a question.
Mhm.
When you say that we should use real-time data, for
Mhm.
example, we use data from people. Don't you think
Mhm.
that that data will be limited because each person perceives something in a different way? Don't you think that will give conflicting results?
Okay. Now let me answer your question. For example, let me use an example. Okay, good example. Good example. Now we want to build an app, an AI app, to solve the problem of domestic violence. Okay. Now I'm throwing this idea to someone here. You can take that up as an idea for free. You're welcome. Now you want to build an AI app to solve domestic violence. Okay. Now, because you're an AI engineer and for sake of AI ethics, your first point of primary information, remember that in this AI app, you want to have the LLM train on data of families and even primarily husband and wife, right? Maybe let's say sample, you're going to go to like 5 homes, or let's use maybe 50 homes, right? And now you want to get first-hand information, right? If you're conscious, if you're an AI engineer conscious about the bias fairness conundrum, do you know what you would do? You'd go to have one-on-one conversations with families, as opposed to just going on the internet and typing 50 families, typing cause of domestic violence in homes, in Kenyan homes. Malaika, since you asked that question, cause of domestic violence in Kenyan homes. Do you know you would have a higher percentage of bias as opposed to when you go to bias in data now, data bias, as opposed to when you go to these homes of these families and get data from them? Does that answer your question, Malaika?
Yes, it does.
Yes, awesome. Yes, Michaela. I love calling you Malaika. My bad, forgive me. All right, Michaela. So now that is what I'm just saying in a nutshell about all of this. Like, AI engineers should now go the extra mile to bring in a touch of humaneness. As painful as it may sound or as difficult as it may look these days, I tell you, you're leading the forefront of your what's the word now? You're actually an AI engineer that is conscious about the AI ethics, promoting the bias fairness conundrum, and even the privacy personalization paradox and the transparency complexity trade-off. Because what that does is when you go to meet these families, for example, you're able to meet them one-on-one and ask them, do you want us to use the data you've given us, the information you've given us to train this our AI app that we want to use to curb domestic violence in families? And they can tell you yes or no. As opposed to when you go to the internet to pick their information, maybe because they granted it to a publication, a news outfit, and all of that, and you're using their information, training your LLM data, using their data to train your LLM, and maybe they don't even want it there. You see that? So now the privacy personalization paradox comes to play, and all of that. So I'm saying in summary, AI engineers these days would stand out when they decide to deliberately and consciously employ a touch of humaneness, even to their building process and all of it. I hope this makes a lot of sense. Michaela, you have something to say? Do you? All right. So we're gradually coming to the end of this. We had the 8 slides, and this thing should be the last. So AI ethics. AI engineers have only one job, literally: prevent AI systems from causing harm to humans. They have only one job. And when they employ the bias fairness conundrum, the privacy personalization paradox, and the transparency complexity trade-off, I mean, they'll be able to somewhat, to a certain level of great percentage, prevent AI systems from causing harm to humans. Because like I said, and the analogy earlier established, humans are still in charge. We still have dominion over the earth, at least not till Jesus comes, for those of us that believe, I believe, right? We are still in charge of the earth. And so we need to make it, we need to exercise that dominion even over our products. It's just like saying, which God has done before. Like we read in the Bible where he destroyed the world with flood. I think he's done that with fire as well. So you see that? So God is not taken aback. God is not scared. Oh, my creation will take over me. The Son is still in charge of heaven and earth. That's the way we humans should still have that consciousness of being in charge of our products, even our AI products. I know this will contradict what the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, says, and I think that's why he even pulled out from Google's board. He's always pushing the fear factor, like AI will take over and all of that, pushing the negatives. But no, for a moment, I want to push the narratives. I want to push the positives because I believe that we are still in charge, humans, of our creation, right? AI is just simply like a reflection of humans. If you are in the class from the beginning, you get what I'm saying. Awesome. So finally, God is a super engineer. I earlier stated AI processes around us day and night, circadian rhythm and gestation. And I want to believe God is also science and technology. For some of us that are epistemophiles, that love knowledge, and so we don't know, and or maybe we get to the extreme of this knowledge where we feel that, oh, we now get to that point as we now become atheists, and now say things like God does not exist, maybe because we've attained a certain level of knowledge, or no. I think you would be treading a very wrong path. I'm saying this also from a place of knowledge and from a place of understanding that God is science and technology. There's really nothing new on the earth. Like we're talking of AI today, but AI existed even from the beginning, from creation. We've been sleeping and waking up. What's that? Some of us here are 40 years old, 20-something years, 30-something. I've been sleeping and waking up. Can you just pause for a moment and imagine the AI process behind that? Can you put the LLM together, put the system's instruction that God gives? Imagine 8 billion people waiting on God to wake them up every morning. But no, God decided to give us that power to do what? Train our body such that you can even train your body to achieve a certain level of results, right? You can say, okay, once it's 8:30, I turn off my phone. In fact, our phones these days even help us control our circadian rhythm so we can sleep and wake up at a certain time. When a baby goes more than 9 months, the doctors say there's a problem. Why? Because the automation is 9 months. Automation has always been and will, there's really nothing new. AI has always been. And this also ties back to our my $1 million question, that why the sudden craze of AI if AI was coined in 1956, 60-something years ago? That just tells you that what has been will be. I mean, there's really no new technology. Even the blockchain and the crypto we all talk about, these things existed in the 90s, either as a research paper somewhere or one. You get? So give it up for God, like he's the super AI engineer. Thank you, guys. I take we've come to the end of the class and I take my bow. A round of applause for you guys. Thank you for paying attention for this 30-something, 40-something minutes. Awesome class. Olariwaju, thank you. Dele, Michaela from Kenya, all. Thank you so much. And so nobody won my free slot. So there's going to be a paid slot for one-on-one private mentorship with me, all of it. So I'm going to open the room now for Q&As as well. Please follow me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn here. I'm going to share this PDF to all of us when they send the emails. I don't know how we're going to share. I'm also going to put it on my LinkedIn wall and Facebook wall as well, this PDF for everyone. Thank you, guys. Questions can come in now. And yeah, there's a paid slot, like I said. Chat me up on WhatsApp. One-on-one with me. I'm going to show you around getting your first AI remote job in Crossover. I'm going to show you what else. There are 3 things. I'm going to give you my book. And I'm also going to, what else? You are going to have 30 minutes one-on-one with me. My time is gold. So you having 30 minutes is a lot. So yeah. So hit me up and we'll talk about the private section. Since no one won my slot, All right, guys. I've had a wonderful time, and I hope you have too. So over to you, Joy. Take over. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much, Emeka. This has actually been a very beautiful session. I enjoyed myself as well. So I think Michaela has a hand raised, so she definitely has a question. So Michaela, please you can go ahead and ask your question.
Uh,
Okay, my
yeah.
question
So,
is
Bakaila, before you go ahead, please just say one takeaway, key takeaway you learned. Then you take your question. Your key takeaway and your question.
sir, could you please answer my question first and then I'll give the takeaway? Because
Awesome. Awesome.
um,
Awesome.
okay, my question is still the same about the live data. I think the answer you gave will only work in certain aspects, because if we take an example of telemedicine, it deals with all about health, all about diseases, all about medication. I don't think when we are creating an AI app for this, I don't think the live data will be that much of help. So is it safe to say that the live data will only work in certain aspects? Just it's I mean, is it safe to say it doesn't work in everything, just specific?
Yeah, okay. So I would want to answer that question diplomatically. You know why? Because if you go the extra mile, you'll be able to maybe mix it up. So you can get live data from let's say 10 to 20 hospitals, maybe primary healthcare centers, right? Right? Live data from them. And then maybe you can get the remaining from the internet, or train your LLM with live data from me. And then you can even specify it in your what's it called, in your documentation. So just imagine you're an engineer now, or you're an investor, and you see that this engineering team took the pains to ensure that they follow the ethical procedures and to promote the bias this thing conundrum, to interview 10 primary healthcare centers at least, and then they trained their LMM with 20 others, as opposed to the other case study that just went to the internet and took data. So imagine you're an investor. Which will wow you? Which do you think puts in the hard work? Which do you think puts in that touch of humaneness? I'm asking you now, Michaela, if you're an investor, who will you be geared towards to invest in?
I think the using the live data will be better if I'm an investor.
Good,
Compared.
good. So if I'm an investor, I mean, I'll definitely go for the one that went to gather live data from primary healthcare centers. Oh my, I'll say that's a lot of hard work. I hope that answers your question. That's the humanness in today's AI world of automation and all of it. We want to see humanness back again, humaneness back again, humanity again in the whole AI craze and AI boom. Thank you, Michaela. So what's your
Thank you.
key takeaway?
Thank you for answering my question. My key takeaway is
Welcome.
the main thing that I got was the profound about the groundbreaking research about the neural networks, the assimilation of the brain into these models. That was the best part that I got. Thank you so much for
Mm-hmm.
this.
You're welcome, Michaela. And I'll see you guys in the next section. We'll have a second section, but it's going to be strictly practicals for AI engineers. I think Joy will tell us about that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, sure, I would. So thank you very much, everybody. I don't know if Emeka has gone, but I feel like we should tell him a big thank you. Okay, I think he has gone. But yes, we can always show our appreciation by there's a post on LinkedIn for this session. So you can always tag Emeka and
Yeah, I've not got
just
Joy. I'm here with Love Stock, yeah. I love
yes,
both
yes,
of the
yes,
other.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can always tag Emeka and
Yes, please.
show our thanks, our appreciation. Yes, please on
please.
LinkedIn. That's where the
Yes, do that
post is.
now.
Just tag
Like,
him
do
on
that
LinkedIn.
now. Do that now.
Yeah,
Mention me
you
on
can go
LinkedIn. I'm going
ahead
to
and do
repost
that now. You see,
everything.
please, we
Just
would
put your
want us to.
takeaway. Please do it now. I'm going to tag us now. Like, put all your key takeaways. Yeah, just put it out there. Put it out there. Let's repost and get the word. Thank you, guys.
So yeah, we've all heard that. So please, let's do well to do that. I'll be sharing the link to the post again. So please, please, and please, let's do well to show appreciation. And yes, I'll be sharing information on the one-on-one session with Emeka. So as many of us that are interested, I mean, 30 minutes of Emeka's time is a whole lot. I'm sure we all enjoyed today's class. You can imagine how a one-on-one session with him would be. For those of you that are already aspiring to, that feel like, oh, okay, I think I'm good enough to now get a job, you can just do that, or you probably just need guidance in your career path. Please, just that one-on-one session would be very good for you. So yes, I'll be sharing the information on that, and I'll be sharing the information on the practical class. um I'll just go ahead and check our calendar and see what works. So, and then I'll get back to everybody. So, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you much more, Emeka, for this beautiful session. It was a beautiful one, I must say, actually.
Yeah,
And yes,
welcome.
the emojis, the thumbs up in here
Yeah,
is just really
Bisola,
saying it
thank
a
you
lot.
guys. Michaela, I want to hear from you guys again. All of you. All of you. Polari
Yeah.
Waju, all of
Uh,
you. Daily, all of you. All of you. So let's catch up on
all
LinkedIn,
right.
right? Let me repost. I want to do repost now. Just send it. I'm reposting ASAP. Okay. See you guys. Bye.
All right. Yeah, sure. So I'll also share his LinkedIn
Yeah.
URL on the group
Mm-hmm.
chat so we can all connect with him. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really a good it has been a beautiful commitment this afternoon. I mean, it's one of those things you do to build yourself up in your career. So I think this brings us to the end of today's session. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you
joining.
guys.